Let's be honest, for most people, exercise didn't start as something empowering. It started in PE class. In junior high PE class, we wore t-shirts with large circles on the chest, divided into things like rope climb, push-ups, and sit-ups. After testing, you colored in each section based on your performance: black, red, green, or gold. Obviously, black was not the goal. The goal was a completely gold circle. And that's how my PE class actually operated, with only a few people achieving solid gold. Most of us sported strange-looking multicolored circles, except for a few kids with entirely black, who are now tech billionaires. Somewhere between colored t-shirts, timed runs, and dodgeballs aimed a little bit too personally, even by the teacher, exercise stopped feeling like something you do and started feeling like something you were judged on. Hi, I'm Dr. Jake. Today we're going to break down why most people fail at exercise even though they know it's good for them. And spoiler alert, it's not because they're lazy. They fail because they're using a system that feels like PE class circa 1972, only without the soul-crushing uniforms. Quick quiz. Which is more important in developing lasting exercise? Intensity or frequency? Post your answer in the comments and stick around to see if you're right. When it comes to making exercise last, the real problem isn't effort. It's that we were never taught how habits actually form. Today I'm going to walk through 10 science-based ways to not only start exercising, but make it last. No whistles, no fitness tests, and no humiliating reward system. Tip number 1. One of the biggest mistakes people make is starting out too hard. They are either over-anxious to get fit, or assume they can pick up right where they left off in college. Sorry, there's no going back, but good habits can help you go forward. In fact, habit research is very clear on this. Behaviors stick when they're easy to repeat, not impressive to post. Your first goal isn't an impressive workout. Rather, your first goal is showing up consistently. 5 minutes counts, even if it's walking or stretching. If the workout feels too small, that's better than crippling muscle soreness later on. Remember, your initial goal is not to train your body, it's to train the habit. And that brings me to tip number 2. Habits form faster when they're attached to something you already do. This is called habit stacking. For example, walk immediately after lunch, stretch while your coffee brews, strength train right after work before you sit down. Or if you have a habit of streaming or watching sports, do it from a treadmill or stationary bike. When exercise has a clear after this, then that, it stops feeling optional. This way, you're not just trying to remember to exercise, you're letting your routine pull you in. Exactly like a TikTok algorithm. The third tip is that frequency beats intensity every time. Did you get that right? Doing something 3 to 5 times per week, even at low intensity, builds the neural and behavioral patterns that make exercise automatic. Yes, intensity improves fitness, but before that, frequency builds the foundation for improvements. It also builds an identity that sticks around when motivation fades. You don't become active because workouts are hard. You become active because movement grows into a natural part of what you do most every day. Click like and subscribe. Thanks. And for more information on exercise motivation and adherence, check out my other long-form videos. Tip 4. We all know that motivation comes and goes, but your environment is steady, so use that to your advantage. Most people fail because they allow exercise barriers to get in their way. My motivation problem video covers this more in depth. But here are a few other things you can do. 1. Give yourself permission to stop after 5 minutes, 1 set, or 1 lap. Ironically, knowing you can quit makes starting easier and quitting less likely. 2. Choose a gym that's close, even if it's resistance bands at home or a walking treadmill at the office. The fewer transitions between life and exercise, the greater the consistency. 3. Remove setup barriers. Have bands already attached, weights already racked, or shoes and clothes laid out. Starting should feel like flipping a switch, not assembling furniture. If exercise requires negotiation, decision-making, or extra steps, you're more likely to skip it. Just like replacing that recipe everyone's raving about with ramen. Removing barriers is especially important on low-energy days. This is where an environment full of easy choices makes a big difference. Number 5, people who stick with exercise don't rely on motivation. They see themselves as someone who moves. Instead of saying, I'm trying to work out, shift to, I'm the kind of person who doesn't skip movement. That identity shift changes behavior long before results show up, and long before motivation feels reliable. Be a person who sees themselves as an active individual. This doesn't mean you need to do 50 push-ups while you're waiting to board a plane. Nobody wants to sit next to that. But it does mean you make movement the default, not the exception. You walk when you can, you stand more than you sit. In short, you move as much as you can as long as it's socially acceptable. Tip number 6, redefine success. Most people define success as weight loss, increased muscle strength, or a gold circle on their chest. Okay, only a few do that last one, but forget all those. Think of success as I showed up, I moved today, or I kept that streak alive. Here's why that matters. When success is outcome-based, quitting feels logical because the weight loss isn't happening and the strength gains aren't there. or it feels unattainable as in climbing a 40-foot long rope. So you give up and color in the black. Yes, that was me. But process-based success flips the script. Showing up becomes the win, especially on tired days. Success becomes easier when the goal is to exercise 5 out of 7 days, rather than losing 20 pounds or benching your body weight. Those are just too far down the road, or for some, unrealistic. But easy success trains the habit that leads to weight loss and strength gains. Tip 7. Motivation will dip, and it helps to understand why. Your brain constantly adjusts effort based on sleep, stress, and available energy. So conserving energy is human biology, and even though it's low, it can be overcome. The people who stick with exercise realize this and have a backup plan, like shorter workouts, lower intensity, or walking instead of training. And even if you do miss a day, the rule is simple. Don't miss twice. A missed day isn't a failure, but turning one missed day into a pattern is. Planning for low motivation days is what allows high motivation days to build upon each other. Without low energy filler workouts, high motivation workouts produce smaller results. Tip number 8, track your workouts. This creates awareness, and awareness changes behavior. The good news is you don't need a complex app, although those can work very well. You can simply track days exercised, steps taken, or minutes moved, and you can do it any way you like. Before apps, I use a simple spreadsheet, or simply checking off days on a calendar. Just find a way for you to see consistency build. Wordle does this for you, and some people are up over 900 days. That's impressive until you've heard someone's run over 20,000 days in a row. Running 1, Wordle 0. Tip number 9. Enjoyment predicts performance almost better than any physiological variable. If you hate running, don't run. If you don't like gyms, don't go, but find something you do enjoy and do it, even if it's power skipping, silly walking, or unicycle square dancing. There is no optimal exercise. The best one is the one you'll be doing next year. The last tip is to think of exercise within different seasons, each with its own issues. You have busy work season, travel season, and kids with soccer every day season. During those seasons, your routine should flex, not break. You might not be able to fit in your usual workout, so instead take walks down the office hall, along the beach, or around the soccer field as your 8-year-old watches birds more than the ball. The goal isn't workout perfection. The goal is consecutive exercise. So you don't need to be more disciplined. You need better systems, lower the bar, increase frequency, reduce friction, and perhaps most importantly, build an exercise identity. And that's how people stick with exercise, not just for weeks, for years. If this helped, click like and subscribe for more evidence-based fitness without the hype. And remember, movements you repeat beat workouts you quit. Thanks for listening. And as always, my answers come from peer-reviewed research.